Welcome to DC TechNet, where we experiment, experience, and are passionate about sharing our experience with everyone. So do like, share, and subscribe the channel. It motivates us to create new content. So let's see what we have today. So we will continue our group policy exceptions, and today will be the part 5. And as you know that there are 4 exceptions to group policy. We have covered enforced, we have covered block inheritance. We have also seen the difference between enforced and block inheritance, and we have seen how security filtering works. And today we're going to look at WMI filtering as a group policy exception. So what's under WMI filtering? Let's look at the agenda for the day. So we'll see what is WMI in brief. I won't be going in depth of WMI, just in brief. How can we admins make use of WMI in our day-to-day activities or day-to-day tasks, everyday tasks? We look at WMI filtering used in our group policy. So one of the usage of WMI is we can use WMI in group policy, and definitely we will be dealing with some demos on WMI filtering in our group policy. So what is WMI? So WMI stands for Windows Management Instrumentation or Windows Management Infrastructure. Again, it's a management framework provided by Microsoft in the Windows operating system. So it's a framework, for management of the operating system. There's only the Windows operating system. It's not applicable for any other operating system, because this WMI framework is built by Microsoft. So this framework provides a standardized way for software and system components to access and manage information about the state of the operating system, hardware, software, and applications installed on a computer. So this is the standardized way. They have set some standards to access and manage the information about the state of the operating system, hardware, software, applications installed on that particular computer. So if you are really interested in WMI and how it works, what the history of WMI, why did Microsoft brought in this concept of WMI, please leave a comment. I will create a deep dive or a descriptive long video exclusively on WMI and how can an admin like us use WMI in depth. So how can we admins make use of WMI in our day-to-day tasks, in our everyday activities? So we can use WMI in scripting and automation, and we can retrieve system information, remote management, event monitoring, performance monitoring, security auditing, resource monitoring, inventory management, configuration management, troubleshooting and diagnostics, and last but not the least, of course, group policy filtering. So these are some of the usage of WMI for admins. And as I told you, if you are really interested, I can elaborate every point in our upcoming session. It will be exclusively only on Windows Management Instrumentation. We can just take just one point, let's say scripting and automation using WMI. Just let me know, just drop me a comment. I require at least 5 to 6 comments for me to create the say content on exclusively on WMI. So let's move ahead. So this is the pictorial representation of WMI. So there is a free tool named as WMI Explorer. So you can get it on the internet. It's absolutely free. So you can just double click on, you don't need to install the tool, just double click on the tool. It will query the existing WMI. WMI, just for the sake, layman's language, it's a database, it's a repository. So this WMI Explorer will pull all the information from that repository and say place it in a GUI manner, graphical user interface manner. So if you see over here, the red arrow, we have root/CIM version 2. So CIM stands for Common Information Model, and we are on version 2 now. And this Common Information Model consists of classes. Now, just for this example, say we have selected operating system as the class over here, and we can see all the properties of the operating system over here. So the operating system is the class, and these are all the properties of the operating system. And we need to query this particular database. So at the bottom we can see we have run a query. This software has run a query. Select start from Win32 operating system. So it brought in everything which was there for this operating system. Even you can see the manufacturer and the free virtual memory and whatnot over here. So this is the pictorial representation of WMI. So let's take some examples. How can we leverage WMI in our group policy now? So let's say we have an OU, Windows servers, and we have say hundreds of servers under this OU, Windows servers. And it's a mixed bag of operating systems. So some are 2008 R2, some are 2012 R2, 2016, 19, 22. It's a mixed bag. Now our target, or there's a task given to us that we need to deploy our policy only on say Windows Server 2008 R2 machines. So that's our target, and we don't want to break this particular OU structure because there are other policies as well applied to this OU. So how to achieve this task? So the WMI filtering will come to our rescue over here. So what we'll do, we'll create a filter exclusively for Windows Server 2008 R2 machines and say deploy the policy. So we'll see in our labs and upcoming slides how it is achieved. Let's take another example. Let's say workstations now. So there are say hundreds of workstations under this workstations OU in Active Directory. And again, we know that there are a lot of say operating system, 10, 32-bit, 64-bit, say 11, 32-bit, 64-bit, old Windows 7 say operating systems. Now our target is, or the end result is, we need to deploy a policy on all the Windows 7 machines under this workstations OU. So again, WMI filtering will come to our rescue over here. So we can filter out Windows 7 machines and apply the policy. So we'll see how all these things are done in our upcoming slides and the lab as well. So WMI filter in say filtering in our group policy. So how to achieve this task now? So first things first, we have to write a new query as per the end result. It can be all Windows 7 machines or say all Windows Server 2012 R2 machines, whatever query. Then we have to either create a new group policy or we have to just highlight an existing one, and under the WMI filtering drop down menu, just select the newly created filter. So on this slide, you will find it somewhat, oh man, what are you talking about? But it is extremely easy. Let me show you how it is. Let's say we have created the policy London Win7 only, and we have linked the policy to the desktop OU. Now, whatever we have configured in this policy, or the settings we have configured in this policy, will be applied to every machine under the desktop OU. Okay. But we don't want this. We just wanted to make sure that only Windows 7 machines will be affected. Now, if you see in the, say, blue rectangle over here, we have not filtered out anything. So what we'll do is we'll filter out Windows 7 only WMI filter. So the first thing is we have to create that filter first, Windows 7 only filter, and then we can filter it out from here. So it will be this policy, London Win 7 only policy, will be only and only applied to all the Windows 7 machines under the desktop OU. It is that easy. The only thing is we must exactly know what we want, the task, and then just create the filter. Okay, just run the query, create the WMI filter, bring that filter under the group policy. It is that easy. Now, let me just give you some examples of queries. Okay, people say that, okay, people write me that, oh, but it's very difficult. It is not difficult at all. You have to understand the crux, the basics of it. So in this example, I'll only focus on the operating system. So there are two things for an operating system: product type and the version number. Product type and version number. So product type 1, desktop operating system. Product type 2, it is domain controllers, server and domain controllers. Product type 3 is their non-domain controllers, and the version number. So let's focus on Windows 7 now. Let's say we want to say query, or we want to create a filter for all the Windows 7 machines. So what will we do? So it's somewhat like this. Select star from Win32 operating system. So Win32 operating system is the class. So we'll select everything from it, where version like 6.1. So if you see at the top, version like 6.1 is for Windows 7 and Windows Server 2008 R2. But we are again adding an AND operator at the end, and product type 1. So product type 1 is for the desktop operating system. So if we write this query, it will only pick up all Windows 7 machines. It will not pick up Windows Server 2008 R2 machines. Even the version number is 6.1, it will only pick up Windows 7 machines. I hope you have understood this example. Let's take another example. Let's take, we have to target Windows 7 64-bit machines only. So we'll again add one more operator over here, that is AND OS architecture equal to 64-bit. That's it. That is that easy. It is very simple. Let's take another example now. Let's say we want to target all Windows Server 2012 R2 non-domain controllers. So it will be select Win32 operating system, where version like 6.3 now. So 6.3 is Windows 8.1 and Windows Server 2012 R2, and product type is 3. So product type is 3 is for non-domain controllers. So we are combining version number and product type. So let's make a little complex now. Let's say we want all Windows Server 2016 now, all. Okay, it can be a domain controller and non-domain controllers, everything. So the query is somewhat complex over here. So select from Win32 operating system where version like 10.14394 or, so we are using a lot of or operators over here. I'll let you know why we are using or operators, and product type, and it is, if you see the sign over there, it's greater than and less than. It means that not equal to 1. So not equal to 1 means not equal to desktop operating system. So it can be a domain controller or it can be a non-domain controller. So the reason for the OR operator is Windows Server 2016 has, say, multiple builds. That's the only reason. So we have to select all the builds for Windows Server 2016 or, and the product type should be 1. Okay, so sorry, not equal to 1 means it should not be desktop operating system. It can be domain controller or it can be non-domain controller. So hope you have understood the basics of, say, WMI queries. I have just taken up the operating system because everyone is quite familiar with the operating system. So if you want more queries, okay, please write a comment. I will create a notepad file which has almost 25 queries which I use regularly, and I will upload it on the Google Drive. So let's move on to demos now. We will go ahead and configure our security filtering in our group policy, and that is WMI filtering. Welcome to the labs. Now we have logged on to our London domain controller, and let's see what we have. So this is our target. Apply a group policy on all the Windows 7 machines under the London workstations OU. So this is our target. So let us open up Active Directory and look at the current status. So we have this Active Directory over here, and under London workstations we have desktop. So we have almost 50 odd desktops, and we have same 50 odd laptops as well under the workstations OU. So we need to filter out all the Windows 7 machines from these 100 workstations. Okay, it's a mixed bag of Windows 10, 11, 7, and we just need to filter out all the Windows 7 machines. So for this, we will say the WMI filtering will come to our help over here. So how to achieve this particular target? So what we'll do is we'll create a WMI filter. Then we'll create, step number 2 will be create a new group policy. Okay, and we can just make whatever changes we want accordingly. We are not focusing on the changes what we want, but we are focusing on the filtering part. So we'll just leave it as it is. So we'll create a new group policy object. We'll highlight the group policy object, and under the WMI filter we will select the newly created filter for our Windows 7. So the filter that we are going to use is this one. So it will be select asterisk, means select star everything under the Win32 operating system, where the version like 6.1 is for Windows 7 and the product type 1 is for our workstation. So we'll use this as our WMI query. So the first task is to create WMI query or the filter. So let me select everything over here and let me copy it. Let us create the filter now. So I'm right clicking, I'm simply copying it, and I'm over here now under Group Policy Management Console, And if you just scroll down over here, you will see WMI filter over here. So we don't have any filters right now. So let me right click and let me create a filter. Let me just name this filter as Windows 7 only. So you can write whatever name you want. So let me add the query over here. See over here, we have query over here, namespace and query. So let me add the query. So the query is for, we are doing the query for Common Information Module version 2. So I'll simply paste the copied content, the query over here. This is the query, and we are querying our Common Information Module version 2. So I'll just click OK over here. I'll get a warning. We can ignore this particular warning. So we are done with creating a new filter. See over here, new WMI filter. I'm clicking on save over here. Now we can see this filter has been created. See over here, the same filter has been created, Windows 7 only. So we are done with step number 1, create a filter. Now we'll create a new group policy object. So we have objects over here. So let me just create a new object over here. Let's say London workstations Windows 7 only. That's it. So this is a new policy that we have created. And this is the policy that we have created. And if you see over here under WMI filter over here, there is nothing selected. Now we need to drop down this menu over here and select the filter that we created. So let me drop down the menu, and we have Windows 7 only, the filter that we created. So we got a pop-up that you would like to change the WMI filter to Windows 7 only. Absolutely yes, I'm going to change it. Now let me link this policy to our London workstations OU. So I'll simply right click, link an existing GPO, and we are done. London workstations Windows 7 only policy has been successfully applied over here. So if you see over here under desktops, you have a lot of say computers over here, lot of workstations. Under laptops we have lot of computers, workstations, but this policy will be only and only applicable to Windows 7 workstations under desktop and laptop. So if you have any queries, please do let me know. Just write down a comment, and I'll try to say solve your queries. So hope you have enjoyed the labs. Thank you. So let's summarize what we have seen today. So we have seen what is WMI in brief, how can we as an admin use WMI, and WMI filtering in our group policy. So I hope you have enjoyed today's session and enjoy your day.